Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this year's first webinar of from our Jumpstart series on how to build better relationships with your customers so you can go from a prospect to a lifelong customer. My name is Joshua Carmona. I am the president and founder of ScoreCEO, and I'd like to welcome all of you and present my assistants today, which are Jasmine Burgos and Masfida Hamid, which are going to be at some point in time interacting with me and demoing some of the things that we can do that we discuss during this presentation that you can currently implement in ScoreCEO today. So let's level set, right? And what are we gonna learn today? Well, I'm pretty sure that a lot of us on this call already know that, trust is something that builds customer retention, and it's got to start from inception, right? From the moment that they start talking, you start talking with your leads, taking them through a process of conversion in your sales funnels, and then going ahead and putting through a customer life cycle whereby you're going to be engaging them. And this is what we see as a grave mistake. And we're starting to look at ScoreCEO and look at our customers' portals. And I think we've done an injustice to you by having a lot of these campaigns done for you. There are a few that we haven't done. We did that so that customers can ramp up and take off pretty quickly. And I guess that works for all of you for a bit. But the customers that we see are doing a whole lot better are really customizing their campaigns to royally engage their customers and engage their sales and their sales and administrative and dispute personnel if they're doing their own disputes. So they have a clear definition between how they engage a lead and what do they say to that lead, and then more importantly, after we convert them to what we call a paid consult in ScoreCEO or an actual customer that's active, right? That means that the customer has paid for the service in some way that you've already provided, either a consultation or a monthly program or a pay-per-performance or pay-per-delete type of payment model. Once you're ready to charge them, what do you do after that? Once they're a real customer, you're doing disputes on their behalf for them. Well, this is where we're finding that even though ScoreCEO provides quite a few tools that are automated, and we'll go over some of those as well, there's just a lot more that you can do with the campaign manager, and you can really create automation behind it. It's simple as this. The more you communicate with your customers, the longer they stay on, the more business you have. Right? Keep that in the back of your mind there. If let's say you have, and this would be like a small CRO. Let's say a small CRO does about 200 customers a month. I'm sorry, a year, which is not a lot, right? 200 customers is, if you're not doing that, you're probably going out of business. But should you be giving away retention? Right? What if you're able to create additional engagement with your customers, right? Not your leads. These are already closed deals. You can create additional engagement through email, through calls, through video chat, and then schedule these, right? And through interaction with the consumer portal and see which ones are activating and engaging and not, right? And try to promote more engagement so that they use the service a whole lot more digitally. Provide them educational tools and automate that so that it doesn't become another job for you to do, right? That's going to reduce ghosting with regards to communication. That's going to extend the lifetime value of that customer. If you're able to get 1 or 2 more months on a customer that's paying you on a monthly recurring revenue plan, if you're able to get 2 more months at $100 on average per month, that's you do the math. It's another what? Another $40,000 a month. That if you throw half of that in a year, if you throw half of that to a marketing type of an expense, that means that you can spend at least 20,000 on the next year for additional paid advertising or something else, or hire somebody to call these customers and make sure that when they're not being engaged at a certain level, that you can go ahead and have somebody reach out to them so that you don't get ghosted, because that's what customers do. That's what I do. When I don't feel that a service is really meeting my expectations at the beginning, if they don't, sometimes I don't answer their calls. Sometimes I don't answer their emails. Another text that's bothering me, and God forbid they make a call on my cell phone, right? We've all done this. We want to keep our customers thoroughly engaged. We want to keep them educated, and we want to keep them informed throughout the process. And we'll give you some ideas on how to do that, right? We want to have some KPIs that really predict customer retention. Like in ScoreCEO, you can see conversions per customer. You can also see how they're doing in regards to whether or not they've activated their portal. And you can see in the new customer details if they actually have, when was the last time that they logged in. You can log in now in ScoreCEO from that step as well. So there's a lot of new things that are happening at ScoreCEO, and it's going to continue to get better. So that's the way that you increase referrals through a better client experience, right? Because once they start using the portal more, and Ms. Fida and Jasmine will show you this later on, is that one of the things that we did in ScoreCEO, which was really different, if you used other platforms out there, and you know who they all are, right? But if you're using those other platforms, or you've seen them or used them, you're going to understand this. All of them only give portals to customers. Well, at ScoreCEO, since we released in 2016, we understood that leads can be referral sources, customers can be referral sources, users, or that means your employees that you give access to, can be referral sources. Referral agents or partners can be referral sources. So all of the user types inside of ScoreCEO and inside the space should have the ability to easily give out at least some sort of a link that can drive customers back to your portal and automatically tie that referral back to the referring source. Well, you can do that in ScoreCEO, and that's been there since day one. And they'll show you and remind you on how to do that as well. So we're going to learn today on a few things, but this is fundamentally what we want your takeaway to be. Okay, let's talk about the real growth problems in credit repair, right? Most businesses are focused on the lead instead of retention. How many of you out there, and go ahead and I'll wait a second, and if you're guilty of it, don't worry, I've been very guilty of that many times. How many of you close the deal and you don't talk to that customer for let's say, maybe one time during an implementation process, and then not even engage that customer for a few months because you got it all covered in your automation? Well, shame on me, right? That's something that we need to improve on. And in ScoreCEO, we have the tools to do that, right? You can create tags in ScoreCEO, campaign lists that address the situation, and then add customers to those campaign lists or tag them in an appropriate way that initiate a campaign that can go ahead and do that. You know, this is a problem that is not just credit repair, a credit repair problem. It's a every business problem. If you forget to communicate well and just send results to your customers, which is something that ScoreCEO does on a monthly basis, it sends a notice of account update. And before we had ScoreCEO, we used to be a big outsourcing company, and we started doing that because the programs that were out there at the time really didn't have a report that would go out to customers via their email. And we were servicing these other platforms because we didn't have ScoreCEO at the time, and we realized that less than 20% of customers were logging in on a monthly basis to their portals. And what we notice is that the more that CROs engage their customers and push them to engage through the portal, the more retention that they have, the longer the customers stay on, the more revenue they generate. And it doesn't matter what payment model plan. If they're on longer, you'll generate more revenue. That's just the way it works out. And that makes our retention strategies extremely weak. Now, if we look at the new lead nurturing campaigns, sometimes we get very sophisticated on that, and I say we've sinned at ScoreCEO for not providing you with a great customer nurturing campaign, but we'll see how we can fix that for you at the end of this webinar, right? But that's something that's really important, right? Losing client kills the momentum and obviously kills your revenue. We talked about it earlier, right? You've got this customer excited. You went through their credit report with them. They looked at what you had as a service and how you could provide it. You presented some testimonials, right? And then all of a sudden they feel really good about it. They're signing up and they're engaged. They send you all their paperwork. They sign the contract. They go ahead and do everything they need to do to get started. They become a customer, and then they don't hear from you until the next month. And they get a notice of account update. For a certain point in time in 2016, that was probably better than all of the other companies or any other business space. Things have changed, ladies and gentlemen. We need to go ahead and do more. And we need to contact them more. How much? As much as we can. And if you don't do that, that's going to kill your momentum. And it's going to kill your retention long term. Customers are going to lose total confidence. Yeah, how many of you have heard this or have said this when you're being pitched a product? He was great when I didn't buy it until when I bought the product or the service. That was the last time I heard of him. I think car dealerships are famous for that, right? Well, yeah, if you follow up with your customers and you keep them engaged enough, the next time they want to buy something, you just want to be the first choice or the obvious choice. And the only way to do that is to stay in their purview. And the only way to do that is to engage them via email, chat, or through text messaging, and you can use those mediums to go ahead and educate them and inform them so they have confidence in your process, right? It's going to create stability. More referrals are gonna start referring more referrals because you start encouraging them to send more referrals, right? And because they feel great about it, and you start creating, and not customers, you start creating customers that are built to last, right? What we call raving fans, and those are the ones that are going to start sending a bunch of customers your ways as well. Okay, so it's simple. The more engagement that you have, the more proactive you are about it, the better your retention is going to be, and your ability to retain customers, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 more months is going to have a direct correlation to your revenue, and your cost of acquisition is going to drop dramatically. That means to acquire a lead, the cost is going to be tremendously less than if you had less customers staying on for a shorter amount of time. That can also create a bigger problem, right? That you can start losing clients because everybody else out there is doing the same thing in every other space. Every SaaS is inundating you with emails and campaigns and giving you a bunch of PDFs and lead magnets and tools to work with and education to learn from. Okay, that's a big problem, and if you don't do it, it'll kill your business. You've got to build trust, like we said earlier, from the first interaction. All right, you know what the biggest problem in the credit repair space is? Promising results that you can't guarantee. Why would you do that? I don't care if you're on paper delete. Stop it. Don't do that. It's just an explanation you don't need to have. Even though you're charging correctly, you're only charging for the result. Be very careful. It's okay to go ahead and say, even though we charge per performance, so we'll never charge for expectations that we can't render or provide to you. We got to let you know that the only people that can delete or repair something off of a credit report are the credit reporting agencies or the data furnishers themselves. Simple as that. It doesn't matter what plan you have. And that creates a transparency because you know what? That's exactly what they're not hearing from all of these other competitors out there. They're afraid to say that to their customers. You shouldn't be, because honesty is a great retention builder. It creates transparency, eliminates all the types of pushback or skepticism out there, right? Clients that understand how the relationship is going to be managed, or what's happening, and more importantly, how it's happening, right? That eliminates all skepticism, right? It creates confidence, right? With all of them, it creates a process that they can almost say, well, this is something I would have my brother do, or my sister, or my neighbor. And that's where you need to go to. The sale is obvious. Credit repair, you got to think about it as this. Your customer has just come out of a desert and they want water. And you're going to give them either a glass of the cleanest distilled water out there, or just give them a glass of contaminated or muddied water. They're going to drink whatever you give them because it's going to quench their thirst. But would they ask for a second or a third cup after that? Or would they even look at the opportunity to do that? Well, if it's a clean glass of water and it doesn't do damage to them, the answer is obvious. But if it's a dirty one, no. And that's what's happening. We can't be afraid to be clear, to be honest with our customers, even if we lose them. I'd rather lose a customer because I was too honest with them than build a relationship based on something that's false, or something that I cannot achieve or do for that customer at all. And this is the message that starts from day one. And you've got to be honest enough to do that. Okay, onboarding mistakes that we see that lead to a lot of cancellation, overpromising results. We just talked about that, right? We already talked about poor communications after sign up, right? Or closing the deal. We're not guilty of that just in the credit repair business. Every business is great at that. And when you go to a place where you find a salesperson that really, remembers your name and maybe sends you a text message, hey, I just got the newest equipment here that you may want to come check out. You might go, you might not go. But the reality is that you're going to know who's sending you and the information and talking to you. And that's the important thing. Okay? Lack of immediate engagement tools. If the customers are not logging in as a lead, or they're not logging in as a customer to their portal, you really can't communicate with them proactively. They can't communicate with you proactively unless they're doing it over the phone. And you want to be careful with that, depending on whether it's a lead or not. But if it's a customer, you want to give them ways that they can go ahead at any point in time. They can log in and on their phone, or they can log in on their desktop and go ahead and send you a note, for example, that goes directly to your salesperson, right? And that's important, right? You've got to have retention tools like, maybe in the portal, have your own ability to have your own chat. That's maybe the same chat that's on your website. You can use, we have a partnership with Talk2. You can go ahead and do that. And if you don't have somebody to man the chat and talk to, you can hire virtual assistants that they can go ahead and answer the, top asked FAQs, and start building that out so you can build a chat service that can answer your customers. Once again, I keep repeating chat. Phone is great, but you want to be careful. You want to make sure that you only talk to customers on the phone when, number one, it's cost effective, and number two, that you're not in a position where you haven't complied with you haven't stopped from being bound by the TSR, the telemarketing sales rule. So be very careful with that as a disclaimer. But you can use, inside ScoreCEO, and maybe Ms. Fida and Jasmine can show you later on that as well. You can go ahead and have a chatbot that you can literally pop into a banner that you can activate with a whole bunch of other steps that can automate a personalized workflow, because it's just HTML. And ChatGPT spits out HTML like the best of them. You don't got to be a programmer anymore. So these are things that you can use, tools that you can use to engage with your customers in real time and in a compliant manner. Let's talk about what we just mentioned earlier, using portals to educate and automate, right? We mentioned that you can use the chat there. You can deliver videos. And you'll see in that demo of the client portal that you can have some really nice videos. And if Jasmine can log in and show you one of our custom built websites for 850 above credit repair, they have a really nice video that we did for them. And it was a customized site, and it basically tells their customers how to use their portal, and they have that in their customer retention email campaign, and I think they have it in their portal. So maybe later on, Jasmine, you can show them the video that plays on that, right? And it was all produced with AI. Automation ensures consistent communication. If you automate a lot of these things, like ScoreCEO does all the billing updates, sends the invoice, a few days before, or however you want to configure that. It can even do a rock block hold up to 15 days before. It won't take the money, but it'll block the funds, block the customer from spending the money that you're entitled, right? You can do that as well if you wanted to, but you can also give them send them the invoice and a thank you for the paid invoice, or if they weren't successful in paying that invoice for some reason, it's automatically sending out a continuance of that. And maybe Masfida can show you that as well inside of ScoreCEO, how you, in a payment model plan, you can configure that. And we've gone over a lot of these things in a lot of our other videos that we have there. And Jasmine, if you can find a few of them and post some links in there, or Masfida or Ariana, of some of these things on how to create campaigns, how to use the lead or customer portal, post them inside of the chat in this webinar, so our customers and attendees can go ahead and use them as a reference to take a look at those videos as well. Very educational. So how do we reduce what the root cause of all of this is? All of a sudden, my customer doesn't pick up their phone. They're ghosting me, right? They're not answering their emails. They're ghosting me. They didn't pay for their service term month. They're ghosting me. Well, a simple thing that you might want to do is welcome sequence. Do we have that? I want everybody to raise their hand who has a welcome sequence after that initiates automatically after they've converted. Whether you're using ScoreCEO or some other platform. Jasmine, I can't see that screen, so are we getting hands raised there? Jasmine?
No, not
Ariana?
right now.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of us are not. You're all listening to me, but we're probably not doing that well. Well, you know what? We would suggest that you have a welcome sequence, at least 7 touches. That you can go ahead to reassure the customer and educate them and remind them of everything you said when they were super excited, because all they're listening when you're saying, and we do Metro 2 reporting and type disputes, and we engage the data furnishers through direct to creditor disputes, and we do 3 letters, and we do a shotgun effect where we go ahead and do customized technical factual dispute reason each one, so that we don't get you into trouble and we keep ourselves out of trouble and keep all of us compliant, right? Yeah, that's a lot. After you went over a credit report and maybe discussed that and sent them a credit report generated from your import in ScoreCEO, it created this beautifully formatted document. They're not going to remember. So you got to remind them. You got to tell them again, don't change your password to credit monitoring, because I can't update. 20% of customers, and I'm sure you tell them every day from here through Sunday, before you close with them, you tell them, do not change their password, right? The first thing they do, 20% of them, is change their password on day 1. What are you going to do? It's a natural phenomenon, right? So remind them. The more you remind them, the more you touch them. Go check your credit. You'll get your credit monitoring. Do not change your password. If we can't log in, and because you've changed your password, then we can't update in 30 days, and you won't be able to see the results. You'll see no progress, if there is any. So if you have changed your password, go ahead and update it in your customer portal, and pop in the link there for their customer portal. If not, just leave it the way it is, because We're going to be logging in and checking and updating your account within the next 30 days, right? Milestone updates, you want to celebrate them, right? Do you have that ability right now? Do you have a trigger like like when the customer has reached half their deletion rates? Do you have a trigger? This is a big one. When their dispute outcomes over 90 days or before 90 days have not resulted, right? That means that they haven't had a result in 90 days. God forbid that happens, but it happens, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and when it does, are you going to wait for that customer 3 months? You know what the first thing is that they're going to say? I've been paying this service for 3 months. I spent $200 on a consultation and 3 months at $300. I've given you $500 and you've done nothing for me. That's what they're going to say. Why wait? If you have a sequence of touch points that you're doing on an onboarding sequence, right, or a welcoming sequence, why don't you go ahead and tell them that that could happen? You could be part of that statistic, and talk to them. 25% of reports contain errors that consumers don't know about, and a great portion of those errors could cause a denial of credit, and they don't even know it. That means they're getting loans today at a 660, 680 score when they could be at a 720, 750. But they don't know that they have errors that are affecting their credit score. You want to go ahead and let them see what the system has created. We're just helping to reorganize it in their favor. We're helping them edit their credit. They need to know that. You need to repeat that to them, because this is a systemic thing. It's not something that is particular to them. This is a problem in the industry. We built a negative system, not a positive one. That means that when you reach 18 and you can, or 21, depending on the state you live in, you can get a loan. And if you do get that loan, okay, you're going to be looked at through underwriting parameters that include pulling a credit report. And if you have no credit, is just as bad as having terrible credit or bad credit. And that's a problem because it's a negative system. Unlike some other countries like Australia, that everybody has great credit until they don't. It's the opposite. Which is better, I don't know, but I can tell you that it's difficult to get to start looking for creative ways to become an additional user on your mom's credit card or your uncle or your dad or whatever. Grabbing and investing in credit building products to do that, right? And that creates great revenue for us, but it shouldn't be that difficult because it's part of the system. Everything is built around it. So we want to celebrate these things, and we have triggers in ScoreCEO that automatically can trigger a campaign based on that. Consumers that have not logged in 30 days or in the last 60 days, that's a trigger. If the customer is not logged in 30 days, so they're in 60 days, for example, you want to send them an email and let them know, statistically, customers that don't look at their portal for more than every 30 days normally don't stay on credit repair, and that's the definite way to stop any results from happening if you do no credit repair. So you can include a link to your calendar and say, click here and let's go over your report. Let's have a 5-minute chat or over your account, right? These are the things that keep customers engaged. Happy customers are only customers that have been engaged. Customers that refer customers are customers that have been royally engaged. And you have to be able to automate to do that. The most important one is the notice of account update, right? If you're not sending reports and expecting them to see results from a portal rather than a report that you're emailing to them, you're in trouble. You do that automatically. If the customer drops a score, you want to tell them, hey, your score drops because of the following things. Even when things get deleted, your score can drop because you could have a terrible profile, right? You could be on a certain scorecard statistically because you have a bunch of collections, and we've gotten rid of all your collections. Now you're put on into another scorecard because that's the way scoring models work. And now you're being compared to a whole bunch of other people that have no collection accounts. and you may be in a different statistical position there, and your scores drop. It's just the way the scoring models work, all of them. So you may want to, do you want to sit down and answer that 50 times a month, or just send an email out to the customers and maybe engage them proactively for them to have set up an appointment so that you can explain it not only through the email, but go ahead and have a call, and you do that automatically. You can create a to-do to go out and call the customer or schedule a call. You can do all these things in ScoreCEO. This is the when you follow up with customers better, you naturally increase referrals to better client experiences. It's just because you're going to be communicating clearly. You're going to, your results are going to be correlated or paired to education that just builds trust. It's a great thing. But you've got to put it out there. If you can't call all of your customers, send them an email, send them a text. Email is not dead. Email is out there. Notify them, text them, go check your portal. You've got new results. You can do whatever, right? But you've got to use your tools to your benefit, and you've got to be proactive about it. That creates a better customer experience. You know what Lexington Law does? Lexington Law takes you in as a customer, and a lot of you say, well, Lexington Law and creditrepair.com, it's like the worst results come from them. Yeah, but they've got millions of dollars in revenue per month, like tens of millions of dollars in revenue per month. So they've got to be doing something right. And one of the things that they do extremely well is building trust. From the moment that customers are on their website, they have a bunch of FAQs. They make the onboarding process simple. It's as simple as 1, 2, 3, right? They even have a call to action. They had one for about 6 months. It's credit repair shouldn't be that difficult, right? And then they go ahead and send you emails and emails and emails. And once you become a customer, they set up monthly appointments, bi-weekly appointments with you to go over your account. And I spoke to somebody at creditrepair.com once, and I said to them, how can you afford that to talk to all your customers? And they said, well, how can we afford not to do that? And I said, great answer. Great answer. The only way what they did tell me was that they have less than a 30% confirmation on a lot of these appointments. So what happens is that they overwhelm the customer with extreme communication and trying to get in front of them either through any of the through video chat, through appointments, through phone calls, through email, and they talk to these customers, and it becomes overwhelming for customers because most of our customers, they can all do their own credit repair. We all know that, but they just don't have the time or the patience or understanding or all three to do that, or any of all three to do that. So what they start doing is not assisting. And when they don't assist, what happens is that they feel bad about it. That's happened to me. I've had somebody just engage me after I've bought a service. And after a while, I just, I'm busy because I'm ADD and a serial entrepreneur, and I get busy really quick, right? And I had this other opportunity that at the time was great, and I'm still interested in it, and I'm still paying for it, I'm still using it, but not probably to the extent that they want me to, and I don't get on calls. I feel bad about it, but I'm overwhelmed by the amount of ways that they reach out to me, and I'm failing myself and therefore failing them and canceling these calls. I'd rather that, and you should rather that be the problem than anything else, because all of this just builds a lot of confidence. And confidence is going to be directly proportional to longevity on your subscription plans, and your customers are going to increase. You're going to increase retention, and that's just going to increase your revenue. That's going to increase your ability to generate more revenue if you reinvest some of those profits into marketing or into customer service or into both. So let's remember this, right? Retention starts from the first contact. Onboarding sets the tone. So if you're not going after your customers and trying keep trying to make sure that they stay on forever, not because you're trying to get bad results, but you're trying to maximize your results and be totally transparent and prep your customer for the frustrations of this credit repair journey that you're both going to be embarked on, right? You've got to set that tone, and you've got to remind them again and again and again and again. It's always good. And continue to educate them. Okay, you want the purpose of education and extreme communication is to elongate engagement, to make sure you have less cancellations every month. We call that churn in the SaaS business, right? So that all of that is going to start produce to produce some metrics, right? You're going to see the more leads that you have, the more customers you have. And the more leads, the more you touch those customers, the longer they stay. The longer they stay, the more revenue you have. And then the more revenue you have, the more you can reinvest to acquire additional customer bases, right? Or additional leads that creates more customers. It's a customer life cycle, okay? And that data, you need KPIs. We have them in ScoreCEO as well, that maybe the ladies can go ahead and review that as well. Jasmine, this is a great time for you and Ms. Vida to go ahead and demo some of the things that we can do for them in ScoreCEO that help them set that retention from the first contact, how they can automate onboarding, how they can automate engagements to prevent cancellations, right? And how they can create campaigns that build trust, as well as look at some of the statistics that they can use and some of the engagements inside ScoreCEO, like on the lead and customer portal, something as simple as knowing whether or not your customer has activated their portal or not. Okay, and that's really important. Okay, I'll leave you now with Ms. Fida and Jasmine.
Thank you, Josh. I'm going to share my screen now so everyone can see it.
Okay, I've stopped sharing, by the way.
Okay, just let me know once you can see my screen. I'm going to put ScoreCEO big here. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So one of the things that Joshua didn't mention was, right, discussing about the onboarding process. One important thing to always remember is that, like he mentioned, about keeping the customer engaged and keeping them invested inside of the follow-up process, right? Knowing what's going on with their credit, what's going on, how they can communicate with you. So a good and easy way of you knowing if your customer is actually even engaging with the platform and really taking advantages of, reviewing their accounts, it's as simple as you knowing if they've activated their portal or not. So when we're looking at any client's profile, and right now I'm just in the overview of ScoreCEO, there's one way that can easily stick out for you that will help you know if someone has actually activated their portal or not. And it's going to be with this bar that we see across from the beginning of each contact record that we see here. When we see red, it just basically means that they have not activated their customer portal. If we see it in that teal blue color, I believe I have some examples here, like Mary Scott, this person here has activated the portal. So the chances of the person interacting more is going to be greater because of the fact that they've already gone in there, they've seen what's in there, they know that they can see their scores, their progress, maybe communicate with you back and forth if you have a chat. So there's tons of things they can do, and this person has greater chances of possibly staying longer just because of the fact that they actually logged in and seen the information that you have to offer. So that's one key thing to know. I always recommend pushing for them to, during the sales process, pushing them to go in and, upload paperwork and do everything themselves through the customer portal. And that's something that you should take into consideration, because there you'll know that it's activated, they're going in, and it just opens up more opportunities for the retention and for them to stay longer. And if you by any chance ever have to resend them the activation email, it's as simple as clicking the arrow on any of them that have the red bar that we see on any of the profiles.
If you
Now,
mouse over,
yeah.
Jasmine, if you mouse over the activation email on the resend activation, if you mouse
Mhm.
over that, it says resend activation email. If you click that, it'll immediately resend the activation email to your customer.
Yes, and keep in mind that does have a time period, so it does expire after, I believe it's 48 hours. So it's always good, maybe at that point reach out to them and say, hey, we sent you this, the activation email. Please, activate your account. If you have any questions, I'm here to guide you. So that will just help with that also. Now, before I jump into anywhere else, I do want to show you, since we're talking about the customer portal, we actually released not too long ago inside of the customer information area, and I'm just going to go down to the portal status. We have now introduced the ability for you to resend a password or even access the customer's portal, sorry. So these two things are extremely important also, because if you have a customer that has signed in and saying, hey, I'm trying to log in and I can't, you can always send them to reset their password, and they just have to go in through the email and follow the process of resetting their password. But having this login to the portal is going to be so beneficial, because if you're in the office with your client or you're doing a virtual meeting and you want to show them your customer portal or explain it to them, the things that they can use and how they can communicate with you back and forth, or how to see their credit scores or different things like that, you can just go to their profile and log into their portal. This makes it unique just to that person. You're not compromising anything, showing anyone's information, just the customer's information. So it makes it easy for you to be able to review the portal with the customer.
Jasmine, I would say if I were to throw a rock and hit four of the credit repair business services out there, all of them let you just go ahead and see what the password is for your customer and then change it for them right online. And that could be convenient. But do you know how many of your customers use the same password for all, for 30% of a bunch? I'm saying 30 to be conservative of
Yeah.
the other services that they have. You're compromising by putting, as a business owner, you're putting that into your employees' hands, potentially, that they can see the password that can log into their bank account.
Oh yeah. It's
That's
it's a very
dangerous.
high risk showing those passwords. It's always good to keep them encrypted, and the least that you can show, the better. So that covers that specific area. Now, one of the things that I wanted to go over with you guys on the onboarding process, like Joshua mentioned, once you have customers right now in ScoreCEO, unless you have already predefined campaigns, um, right, the process kind of just stays there until the notice of account update is set up. But I wanted to show you guys how you can set up campaigns to be able to do follow-up sequences with your customers, right? And continue that follow-up process once they sign. So I went ahead and I created two examples of campaigns that I wanted to show you guys. So currently I'm in the campaign manager, and I created two campaigns for you. I created a customer onboarding process and an educational process. So by doing this, what I'm doing is I'm creating a campaign that will allow me to communicate with them right when they sign up, and then one that's just for education, right? That I can continue to maybe send them an email out maybe once a week about different topics, finance advices and just different information that will help them, with their credit repair journey. So I'm going to go ahead and open these up for you so you guys can take a look.
Yeah, I would, while you're doing that, like for example, explaining to them the five factors of credit. That's something that they should all know. Explaining to them that even though they're in a credit repair process, that the credit reporting agencies may send frivolous responses. Sending them videos on how congressional hearings, from YouTube have engaged some of these companies. They're on the internet. You might as well just go ahead and show them to them. They're in some of your newly nurturing campaigns, by the way, by default.
Mhm.
Teaching them on what the differences are between the scoring models, right? Why scoring models? These are all things that educate them, and you want to give them the credit repair experience in bite-sized chunks, not all at once. And email campaigns and educational lifecycle campaigns build a lot of trust.
I agree. I agree. And just remember, a lot of the times when people are approaching you and investing in doing the credit repair process, the more communication you give them, it's going to give them also that peace of mind. Because if they're coming to you is because legitimately at some point they want something. Maybe they're interested in getting a home or a vehicle or just being able to get a credit card and they just can't, right? And you giving them the guidance that they need, it's going to give them that peace of mind that they've chosen the right person to help them with their credit repair. So what I did, I actually created two types of campaign. First, I created a system event campaign that is an onboarding process. This one would just be an automated campaign that you don't have to do anything to it. It activates according to a trigger that happens in the system. In this case, I use the one that is when a lead is converted to a customer. When a lead is converted into a customer, like we show here on this screen, that's basically the trigger. It's going to do it all by itself. I don't need to send out an email. I don't have to do anything. At this point, I created my structure of what type of communication I want to
Hold
go
on,
out. Oh,
before you
sorry.
go, can you go back real quick?
Yes.
I want to show you something on that, but that's a new feature that we have in Score CEO, where you can choose to go ahead and start that campaign. And when you do, when you have customers re-enroll in a campaign, which happens quite frequently, you'd be surprised how many times customers will opt into something or convert and or meet the criteria multiple times if it's a trigger. And you now in ScoreCEO, you can re-enroll them from the start or resume the current campaign because you keep adding stuff to the campaign as well. So these two choices are new in ScoreCEO. I just wanted to point that out to everyone, Jasmine.
Thank you. Thank you. So now I'm just going to go into my campaign just to kind of show you guys what I did. Basically, what I did was the moment they turn into a customer, I'm going to just send them out a welcome email. And again, a lot of this content, it isn't, you know, actual content. It's just built for this. So it's not, elaborated how it you probably do it for your company. It's just for training purposes. So basically, I just created a welcome email that will go out the beginning of the process once they turn into a customer. Then what I did was I waited 3 days and then I'm gonna go ahead and set up the expectation, let the customer know what to expect or what's going to happen in that process, right? And that would just be in the credit repair process. If you know that we're going to be reviewing their credit report, we're going to be creating letters, we're going to be mailing it, the time frame that it's going to take. That's what we're going to do with setting the correct expectation. After that, I'm just going to wait a few days and this one's going to go out day 5. And what I'm going to do is try to increase that portal engagement. And this is all regarding that onboarding process, right? We want to make sure that we get them to do all these steps to ensure that that retention is a little bit longer. So here I'm just reminding them how they have their portal and all of the things that they can do in there, how they can leave notes, how they can see their credit scores, see their credit reports, see their payments. So everything will be available for them to review there. So it's kind of just like a reminder. Then in my next step, what I'm doing is I'm applying a tag. By applying this tag, I'm applying a tag that I created for the educational portion of it. And what I'm doing is that I'm tying one campaign with another campaign. So by doing that, what you do is while this campaign is currently running, I want an educational campaign to start going out, right? It could be because this campaign is probably going to finish soon, or I probably want to address something different. Maybe now I want to start into the educational part because I've already spoken to them about their expectations and how to engage with the portal. So this would start a different campaign. But before we jump into that campaign, I'm just going to show you what I have next still in this campaign. So my last step in this campaign would be to send them out just a text message just to say hi, see how they're doing. So remember, if they have any questions, they can text you back or visit the website or go right into their portal to the live chat. So that's what I did in this campaign, right? Now, since I did tie this campaign to a different campaign, I'm going to show you the next campaign that I did tie it to, which is the educational portion of it. So basically, what I wanted to do with this campaign is I wanted to make sure that at least for the next 8 to 10 weeks, I had one email going out. Now, this could definitely be longer if the clients are with you, let's say for 6 months, you can definitely extend it for that period of time. But this is what I thought would work for me at this point. So I'm going to go into the next page. And the difference between this campaign is now this campaign is a tagged campaign versus the other one was a system event campaign. So when we go in here, we'll be able to see the tags that were being used for it. Now, when I go to next here we would see the same thing. Now this is just educational. This is going to go out so that once that tag is applied, the next day these emails would begin to go out. I'm starting with, understanding their credit score. I'm going to wait a week and then send them out, what's their utilization ratio? What does that even mean to them? Then I go on waiting another week and then I'm sending another email why some accounts come back verified and so forth. So we'll be able to see, how long credit repair takes, what are soft versus what are hard and soft versus soft inquiries. So basically, I'm just giving them educational information, but I'm breaking it up weeks apart. That way, consistently, they're getting communication from me. And this campaign, I set it up with about 6 email campaigns right now. And then I broke it up, after about 40 days for a to-do to be created for one of our representatives to reach out to this customer, see how everything's going, and kind of do a follow-up process with them through a phone call. And then my last step was to send out a text message. Now, I could link this with another campaign if I wanted to be kind of like for blogs or anything like that. If I wanted to finish, you can definitely do that also. So you're not limited to, just creating one campaign. As you can see here, I merged basically, I basically made one linked with the other. So once one is done, it automatically starts the next one. And you can consistently do that with as many campaigns as you like. So that covers the campaigns. Does anyone have any questions for me? Josh, do you have any?
No, I think that's a lot, right? And I know Ms. Fida has to show us some things as well. I think that if this is a lot, but if you remember that you can always engage us via the chat. You can always set up an appointment so that Jasmine can show you how to do this. And at the end of this webinar, we'll give you an opportunity to be able to engage us to go ahead and do some of this work ourselves for you, including a gap analysis on how you're engaging your customers and how to maximize that. So we'll go over that in a minute, but let's get Ms. Fida on real quick.
Okay, Muspita, I'm going to give you the floor. You can share your screen. Oops, I'm trying to find my teams. So I can. Okay, here we go. Go ahead, Muspita.
Okay, well, Jasmine has covered pretty much everything, but I can show you some features inside ScoreCEO, like you can log into your consumer's portal without using their credentials. Let me know when can you see my screen. Hello?
I can see your screen.
Yes, now I can. Perfect. Thank you.
Well, if you want to log into your consumer portal, there is a way inside ScoreCEO. For that, on the leads consumer list, you can click on this button. It says impersonate consumer. When we click on it, it will allow us to log into the consumer portal. We can see if the progress is being updated in there or not. this will help us keep track of everything, like if we have everything synchronized or not. Besides that, we have few more campaigns which we can use to engage customer. Like every time we send a notice of account update, we can create a campaign. We can create a campaign on like a generic purpose if they have received their notice of account update or not. That will help us engaging a customer. For that, we have to select the criteria notice of account update. All the customer will be enrolled in that campaign every time they receive a notice of account update. You can just add.
So basically what you're saying is based on that system trigger, when the processor sends the notice of account update, immediately it triggers and adds that customer to whatever campaign you're creating, basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we already have a automatic way to send email with along with the notice of account update. But if we want to check again for the customer that if they have received their notice of account update or not, we can send them email or we can set up a text message after a few days just to see if they are getting all the updates from us. And other than that, there are few more campaigns which can help us engage with customers based on their credit report stuff. For example, when we want to tell them that they have reached the half deletion, so we can create another campaign that will send an email or text to the customer whenever they have reached their 50% of deletions.
You could send that to the referral agent as well, could you?
Yes.
Awesome. So if a referral agent that, like a mortgage, I would say a real estate person that's referring customers to you, or a loan originator, a mortgage type originator type of company, that you could, if they're sending constant referrals to you, you don't have to have them log in. You can update them, let's say, every time a notice of account update is sent, or maybe even you can initiate a campaign based on when they've reached half their deletions, or maybe when their scores have dropped. Maybe those are all triggers in ScoreCEO. Is that correct?
Yes. And besides that, if you don't want to send them email during the weekend or any type of engagement like email or text, you can always have an option to exclude the weekend from it. While creating a campaign, if you select this checkbox, then system will not send email or text during the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah. That's convenient as well, especially for text, right? Because if call us now and it's Saturday, 6 o'clock. Really? Yeah, that's a problem. We added that. That's, I think, that feature was added in the last 2 months, like I would say, or less. Is that correct?
Yeah. And if you want, you can, besides the campaign, if you want to engage with customer through chat, you can always have an option of a portal banner. For that, we will go to the configuration and we will go to the portal banner, select the configuration, and we can create a portal banner inside ScoreCEO. That portal banner will always be available inside the consumer portal. For example, right now I have this banner. That contains all the workflow for the lead, and we also have a widget here when we log in as a consumer. Let me show you.
Or a lead, right? When you log in
Yes.
as a consumer or a lead, right? Customer or lead.
Yes.
Yeah.
That banner is visible on the dashboard. We can watch the videos. They can watch the videos, and also it's just a one button click thing. If they want to set up their payments or credit monitoring, they can just do it inside this portal. And if we want, we can have another video here that will that will teach them how to send the referrals. If a customer wants to send a referral to someone, all they have to do is to log into their consumer portal, and then they have to go to this referral button. And here they have four options. They can either paste their link on the Facebook post, and every time a referral lead is added through their link, that will be mentioned inside the uh, CRO portal. They can do the same from Twitter, or they can send the link inside email, and also they can use a special link.
And that link is unique to them. So once if they could have that on their phone and forward that to somewhere and send that to any customer from their phone or from an email or from a campaign email, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
And no, so sorry, not from the campaign.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we've also added reCAPTCHAs to a lot of these custom forms so that it eliminates a lot of the spam that you receive on your portals. That's also a new security feature that we've added to increase deliverability rates for you.
Oh God, email is not available. Let me show you the already added lead. Okay, so here the lead with that email already exists, but if I go to that leads in personal information step, if I scroll down, you will say it is saying that referred by Musfira test. That was the name of consumer who referred this lead. That can help you like adding a discount or something like that for the referral. More referrals they send, more discount they get thing. And
Or
if you want,
maybe if you're paying referral fees, you can go ahead and start seeing what, closed customers, who their closed referrals are. You can see what leads are coming from whom, right?
yes.
So if you've got a referral partner that's tied back to a salesperson, right? That person can go ahead and send those leads over, and you can monitor that and account for all of their closed sales. And if you're going to pay them commissions, hopefully they're not real estate people that you're doing that with, but that could be a RESPA violation. But if there's any other person, like maybe a barber shop or some type of a referral agent that you have there, an independent salesperson's just sending people over to you, you can pay them a fee for that and account for it based on not the monetary part of it, but at least the accountability of how many referrals every referral source has. You can continue.
What else? These are the main things we can do for customers to engage them. Jasmine, can you please show them a quick demo video?
Yes. So, Joshua, you mentioned about a customer video that we had created. So I thought it would be
Yeah,
nice for
I
me to
think
show.
we that was included in a customer's campaign, right?
Yeah, it was going to be part of their, I believe it was maybe their banner. And I could be wrong.
I think it
But
was
it was
on
for
their
the
website.
customer.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was on their website and their customer retention campaign in their portal, I believe. And that
Yes.
I think it belongs to 850 and above, 850 above.
Yes. If you would like, I can show that short
Yeah,
video.
go
Okay.
and show that real quick.
Welcome to the 850 above customer portal, your personal command center for a faster, clearer, and more empowering credit repair experience. This is where your entire credit journey comes together in one simple, beautifully organized place. Let's jump in. When you log in, you'll land on your dashboard a powerful snapshot of your progress, alerts, and key actions. No digging, no guessing, just clarity. Front-end Center is your workflow, guiding you step by step through essential actions like confirming your information, activating credit monitoring, saving your report, choosing the right plan, and even booking strategy calls. It's designed to keep everything moving smoothly. You'll also be able to update your personal information anytime, keeping your file accurate and ready for progress. Next, you can subscribe to credit monitoring, which helps track your report and score changes throughout the process. Once it's active, you can also save your credit monitoring information directly in the portal to keep everything organized. You can also review and select the plan that best fits your goals, and you can add your payment method and book a call directly through the portal whenever scheduling support or strategy is needed. Want to check your scores? Your credit scores and score history are displayed in a clean, easy-to-read format so you can quickly spot changes and celebrate your wins. If anything needs your attention, the Issues section highlights it, instantly giving you quick insight and quick solutions. You'll also find your transaction history, account notes, and even your dispute account status, giving you total transparency and control every step of the way. Next, explore your powerful side menu packed with tools designed to keep you informed and empowered. Your dispute plan shows exactly what's being addressed, so you always know what's happening behind the scenes. Need to upload something? Head to Documents to add files, review updates, and keep everything organized in one spot. Want to help friends or family boost their credit too? Visit Referral for instant referral links you can share in one tap on Facebook, email, or X. You can also manage your payment method, view your invoices, and monitor your credit progress as your results grow over time. And that's your complete tour of the 850 above customer portal, built to give you clarity, momentum, and confidence throughout your entire credit repair journey. If you ever need help, our team is right here with you. Visit our live chat available to assist you in your journey. Thanks for watching. Now let's keep your progress moving upward.
That's a nice video. Yeah, I like that a lot. I mean, if any of you need that video or want to discuss it, just schedule a call with us, and we'll take it from there. Is that all that you ladies need to demo right now?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that information. Thank you on behalf of our attendees as well. Let's go ahead and so in conclusion, right? True growth comes from improving client experiences, not just increasing ad spend. That's a temporary fix. You can invest $10,000 on Google pay-per-click and increase your sales, but you're going to have to do that on a monthly basis, and that's going to start driving over time because you're going to be keying on keywords that your competitors will organically compete against you. So your cost of acquisition is destined to increase that way. When you have customers, leads, users, and everybody just having this ecosystem of referrals going out there, you have an increased engagement, they stay on longer, you create raving fans that create more, that have a better client experience. That's going to increase your sales and decrease your cost of acquisition, and increase your revenue as well, because they're going to stay on longer. This starts giving you a way to predict your revenue rather than kind of wonder what you're going to be selling next month. So if you feel that you don't understand a lot of this that's going on right now, it's okay. We just want to make it relevant to you. And if you want to, and point it out to you, and if it's just accomplish the question of how do I even do any of this, you can go ahead and reach out to us, or we can go ahead and do it for you. And if you do, we've done this for other companies in the past. This has a value of $699 to create 3 campaigns, 7-step each campaign up to that. We'll go ahead and do a gap analysis of whatever you have in your portal, because you already might have some other custom campaigns in there. We'll see what's missing, and we'll get at least 3 campaigns done for you that have 7 steps each at a maximum. We'll test those campaigns. We'll demo those campaigns to you and get your approval. We'll deploy those campaigns and train you on those campaigns for just $99. That's a steal. If you book today, we can go ahead and get you set up. All you need to do is type your name into the chat, and Ariana will get back to you and send you an invoice through through Keep, and you can go ahead and pay for that, and we can get you started and plan that out with you. Do we have any questions, Jasmine? Maspira, do we have any questions?
I'm checking. No questions. I don't see any, no.
Awesome. Next webinar, scale your business, systems, pricing, expansion strategies. A lot of us don't know if we're pricing too high or too low. And what are the strategies on good, better, best, and how to manage that, how to navigate compliance, how to tighten your sales to your web conversion practices. All of these things are going to be discussed on our next webinar, and we'd love to see you on there. Remember our weekly blog, what is the best definition of a credit report, the 2020 update for credit repair businesses. Remember that we own credit repair business websites. If you need a custom or templated website, we do both. Anywhere from a few bucks a month to whatever you want to do. We have a lot of examples of that, right? And we can have conversations to show you what we can do for you. But more importantly, it's just not having a website. We understand the space. We understand the keyword strategies. We do all the organic. We deliver sites that are custom. And when we do our custom sites with organic SEO, if you buy a templated website, we have the ability to go ahead and also do sell you a SEO on-site SEO and a keyword strategy service as well, that we can get you converting more times rather than not, and give you on a templated website unique content, including blogs, right? So just ask about that. If you need to reach out to Javier, Jasmine, or any of us here at ScoreCEO, go ahead and let us know. You want to chat, you type your name in the chat, and for what, we'll go ahead and reach out to you as well. Well, credit repair business education, we have over 100 hours of video and content that you can take advantage of. SEO, we just went over that, but if you want to see what some of those services are about, go over to ScoreCEO.com and click on SEO services. All right. If you want to chat with us within the ScoreCEO portal or the ScoreCEO website, you can initiate a chat, and we should respond very quickly to your questions to provide you the quickest answers that will let you supercharge your business. You can book time with Jasmine on this link here. Jasmine, if you need to put that on the chat, go ahead and do so everybody can copy that that link and reach out to you and book a call if they need extended training for them or any of their new hires. I always mention this, NACSO is the only and the National Association for Credit Service Organizations that has lobbyists representing us, and they need our support. They need your support. We all need to become a member of NACSO, and if you do, you can use the NACS0100 promo code, and it'll give you $100 off. And they have your monthly fee would be based on the number of employees that you have. If you have 1 through 5 employees, $49 a month is something that I know you can do to be able to be represented in Congress. That's good. If you're larger than that, there should be less of a pushback on that. But if you're not taking care of our if we're not taking care of our destiny, if we're not financing our destiny, we're going to become victims of it. So let's just get that done. Go ahead and copy and paste that Naxo link into the chat, Jasmine, and the promo code if you can, please. And that's all we've got. I hope this has been educational for you. You've learned something on how to leverage ScoreCEO or your existing platform to be able to. This all applies to any other platform. If you're using another platform, you're just here for the content. That's cool, and I get that, and it still makes no difference. The platform is just a vehicle to be able to deliver the content, to be able to excellent customer experiences and elongate your customer life cycles, right? But doing it in a way that doesn't compromise your credit repair results, which a few companies play around with that, right? We want you to get as many results as possible, as quickly as possible, but you want to overwhelm your customers with attention, education, and information that keep them very engaged in your process. If there are no questions, have a great day, and thank you for your time today.